Hello everyone, I am making another soup recipe from the Secret Restaurant Recipe Cookbook. This time it is a baked potato soup inspired by Tony Roma's. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've never actually been to this restaurant. There's none in St. Louis. I'll be honest, I know I wanted to make a baked potato soup for this month of soup recipes, and I've got a really good one, but it's quite complicated. And I looked through several others. This one seems pretty straightforward and easy. And so that's why I'm going to give this one a go, because it's pretty easy compared to other baked potato soup recipes I've done. So one of the ingredients is 4 slices of bacon, which I made yesterday to make that easier. And then the first step is to cook the 3 medium russet potatoes. You just bake it for an hour, and it does specifically say you can make it the day before, because once you have baked the potatoes, you're going to cut them into cubes when they cool down. So that definitely something that I could have done earlier, and that just makes the recipe easier. And then once you get all the ingredients together, it's only about 20 minutes of cooking, not counting the hour you spent making the baked potatoes. So that does actually seem pretty simple, because the last baked potato recipe I used took like 2 hours to make. So let's see if this is relatively simple. Anyway, first step, let's get those baking. And again, I am showing the recipe because this can be quite easily found on the other internet. But as usual, I do recommend buying the book. I'm not sponsored. I paid for this. But there are lots of interesting recipes in this book. Another reason I like this recipe is because I had the majority of all the ingredients. The only thing I had to buy was half and half, which is freaking expensive. And green onions. The tops are gone because I did use them for a different recipe yesterday. The green onions, bacon, and sharp cheddar cheese is for a garnishment on top. The base is a cup of onions, which is usually a cup of chopped onions, which is usually a half of a big onion. Saute it in butter. Stir in flour to make a roux, and then gradually stir in 4 cups of chicken bouillon. And then once that starts boiling, you add the half and half and mashed potato flakes. And then the seasoning is thyme, basil, salt, and pepper. So first thing I'm going to do is get the onions chopped. The butter started warming up. And again, this calls for a Dutch oven, which I do not have. I'm just doing everything in a large pan. So gradually, blah, blah, blah. And then the last step is stir in the baked potato cubes. Cook 10 to 15 minutes until soup is thickened, and then you garnish with the cheese, bacon, and green onion. So overall, out of all the baked potato soup recipes I've seen, this is the most simple and basic. But anything with the half and half just gets to be so expensive. So I only need 1 cup. This is 2 cups, but I'm sure I'll find a use for the other cup. So that bag of potato flakes was only like a cup and like, I don't know, 1/3, not much. It needs a cup and a half. I'm gonna make do with what I got because I'm not opening another bag just to fill this one the rest of the way. I'm sure this is another example of shrinkflation, so it's gonna have to do. The onions have been cooking for they're sauteed about 6 minutes, and now I'm gonna stir in the flour and cook this for a minute, just to make sure the flour gets cooked so it doesn't, give a flour taste to the soup. And then after that is cooked for a minute, then we slowly add in the chicken broth. I added the chicken stock and the spices. Now I'm going to add the heavy whipping cream, or is it half and half? Half and half, and then the potato flakes. And then we let that cook for 5 minutes. And then we add the baked potato cubes and let that cook for 10 minutes. I forgot to mention add a cup of water. I was wondering why it was so thick. This is why I always read the recipes 2 or 3 times. I almost forgot the cup of water. And now this is much better. I was like, this is just too thick for the start of the 10 minutes. So yeah, it's not a recipe unless I make a mistake. All right, I skinned the potatoes, cubed them up, and added them to the soup, and now it cooks for 10 minutes at medium heat. You don't want it too high because with this cream, milk, dairy product in here, it will burn. So stir occasionally and cook for 10 minutes and then it will be ready. All right, the soup turned out pretty thick. Now I'm just garnishing it. I guess if you want to make it super easy, you can decorate with bagel bits, but I'm not. I'm using real bacon my husband made. We're still training her. You know you're not supposed to be on the counter, Mimosa. Don't make me get the water bottle. I know you're just a curious little girl, but don't make me get the water bottle. These look pretty darn good, don't they? It's a little thicker than the, maybe not. Turned out very thick. I like it. I don't mind a thick soup. All right, there's honey in the background. Always curious what we're doing. So it turned out very thick, even though I like left out a quarter of the potatoes flakes, but that's really good. You're gonna have to give me a second. There's a crying kitty, hold on. Mimosa's gets put in the bedroom when it's her dinner time, and she was just letting us know she was done eating. So this is really good. And we've made potato soup before, just a longer process. This was not that hard at all. What do you think?
I like it.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. Oh. Hot. It's hot. It's really good. I would use this recipe again. You don't, no other thoughts besides you like it?
I like it.
You like it?
I've had other types of potato soup.
I know, I mean, it's not the best potato soup ever, but
It's good though.
that's pretty darn good. Oh. Let it cool down for 5 minutes and it's still hot. I like that it recommended like making the potatoes like a day before. So you could definitely like save time and like whip this together in 20 minutes if you already had the potatoes baked. It's good. I like it. Sorry, honey, no potato soup. They're all, you can't see it, but they're all watching.